Hello and welcome to Offsite Dirt. This is the place for construction news, offsite, high performance, building science, and all the goodness in the middle of that. We are joined by some amazing people along with my guest, Mark Wille. Mark, how are you today?
I am so excited because Fortified has been pushing the envelope in so many ways. And we're going to hear all about it today on Offsite Dirt.
Exactly. And this is the greatest thing. We started this new series called High Performance, and it has been exploding. People are looking for homes that live and breathe and work better. And that's really what Fortified is all about. The Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety has been making these amazing great new things that are happening in our industry. And Fred is going to actually give us, Fred Malik is going to give us a little bit more insight. Welcome, Fred. Thank you for being here. Love to hear a little bit more about you and why you joined forces with this organization.
Sure. Well, thank you, Audrey and Mark. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to talk to your audience a little bit about Fortified. So I'm a builder by trade. IBHS is a nonprofit funded by property insurers and reinsurers, and we do a lot of science and engineering in the building behind me. But my background is as a builder, so I'm the liaison between what we do in a laboratory setting and making sure that we can actually take that out to the field, and those of us that are builders can actually do these kinds of things to help strengthen our communities against natural disasters. I've been running the program for about 15 years. And prior to that, I was a home builder and developer for 20 years.
Fred, that's a background that we need, right? And speaking of need, right? Consumers have had a huge uptake in the demand for resilient construction, right? Wanting the benefits of a durable building. Can you please speak to that and how Fortified sets the bar?
Yeah, sure. So I think we've been at this a while, and it's taken a little while to help homeowners understand the role that codes play in how homes are built, the different types of construction that are out there, and match their expectations and preferences with what's being delivered. And the majority of folks still think that the building code is adaptable and flexible enough that it incorporates all the things that we're learning about how to build homes better as quickly as it can. And so all of those things must be included in every house that's being built. And that's not necessarily the case. Now, the code has come a long way, particularly in places that are exposed to hurricanes, and particularly down in the southern part of the country. But still, there's lots of opportunity to innovate and improve how we're building homes, and Fortified provides an opportunity for us to do that. We can do this kind of research, we can accelerate and get it out to folks that are anxious to use these types of techniques before the code catches up. And as far as homeowners and demand goes, we really have been seeing homeowners become more aware that they have an opportunity to do something about their risk and about their home's durability. And that's not just on the coast, that's inland too, which is a really important change that we're seeing in the marketplace. Most folks are looking at things like the severe convective storms that fired up last night in the central part of the country and have been plaguing a good part of the country for the first quarter of this year. And they're looking for solutions. So we feel like we're positioned really well to capitalize on that.
So Fred, we know that you're the managing director for Fortified Programs, and you were talking specifically about techniques.
Mm-hmm.
What are those techniques, and how are you seeing those expand into the offsite manufacturing and those communities for high performance or higher quality home designs?
Sure. So everything in Fortified starts with the research, and I mentioned that before, and I do want to be very clear too that as a nonprofit, Fortified is not a profit center for IBHS. So it's not something that we do that allows IBHS or has IBHS generating a ton of revenue off of it. Instead we are really developing the techniques I'm going to talk about and providing them to home builders, re-roofing contractors, homeowners, offsite builders, so that they can then incorporate those features in their house and add value for their customers. So just want to make sure that folks understand that this really isn't a sales pitch, but so that in the science, as we have studied over decades, how the built environment reacts, particularly to high winds, we've noticed a couple of really easy to identify trends or well-defined trends. And the first is that when you have high winds, the first thing that's usually going to get compromised is going to be the roof. The roof cover is exposed every day of the year throughout its entire life cycle. And as it ages, it can really be vulnerable. And so, even in lower threshold winds, below things like tornadoes and tropical storms, we can see roof cover failures. Once that roof cover starts to fail, it gives a pathway for water to get in. And that's when it really gets bad for homeowners. You can have a non-structural problem that keeps people out of their house for months at a time. So that trend is really the foundation for our program. We start with the roof. If we can get the roof system to be fortified by nailing it down, sealing it up, and locking it in, and I'll walk through those, then we can really make a huge difference in how houses perform in high winds. This may be a new piece of information for folks, but 90% of the homes that experience an insured loss have roof cover damage. So that just is a really stark indicator that we need to pay attention to how roofs are being built. So nailing it down is making sure that we've got a roof deck that is properly attached to the structure. We specify using 8D ring shank nails at a minimum, depending on the thickness of the material. Those little rings that you'll find on those shanks can double the uplift capacity of the roof deck. We put them a little bit closer together. In coastal areas, we put them 4 inches on center across the entire roof, make it super simple for folks to know what to do, as opposed to, varying the nailing pattern across the roof. 4 inches across the roof along the coast, you're in good shape. For inland locations, it's 6 inches on center, because we don't necessarily need everybody to build like it's going to blow 180 miles an hour. The next thing that we do is seal up the roof deck. And so under most common roof cover materials, there's a code compliant underlayment, which is usually 15-pound felt, and it's hand tacked, right? So it's tacked temporarily until the primary cover goes on top of it. Well, what happens when that primary cover fails? When that primary cover starts to come off, then that 15-pound felt is not very durable. It will tear, and it immediately goes with it. And that's where the real risk comes in. That water starts to come flowing into the house. So we provide 4 different techniques under the Fortified program for sealing the roof deck prior to the cover going on. So the first one is tape and synthetic underlayment. Fully adhered membrane is another, which can be appropriate in some geographical locations. Under certain types of roof cover, like cedar shakes and shingles, 2 layers of 30-pound felt can be a very effective technique. And then finally, if you already have an existing roof and you want to try to do something to seal your roof deck, you can use closed cell spray polyurethane foam on the underside of the deck along the roof framing members and horizontal gaps in the sheathing, and you can seal a deck up that way without having to tear the roof off. Each one of those 4 techniques we've tested rigorously in the lab, and they can reduce potential water intrusion by 95% or more. That's a huge difference. So that's nailing it down, sealing it up. And then the last thing I mentioned was locking it in. For your audience that knows about how wind and those kinds of forces interact with a building, the highest pressures, and that's really what gets to a house, and that's what causes failures, is the pressure that's applied to the house. It's not the wind speed. The wind speed is a factor in determining what the pressure is going to be, but the pressure is what gets the house. So the highest pressures on the house on the roof will be at the edges, around the perimeter and up at the ridge. So we provide techniques for locking it in at the edges to make it far less likely that water will intrude and the cover will fail at the edge. So that's how you get started, is in fortified roof. After that, you have fortified silver, which takes care of openings and garage doors. And then the final level is gold, and that's the continuous load path. That's a set of connections that connects the roof to the walls to the floor, and the floor to the foundation, getting that load on the house down into the ground. So that's a highlight of the three levels that we offer. And all of that I just described is in detail for free on our fortifiedhome.org website. So if folks want more information about that, they can grab a complete explanation about those three levels there.
Fred, the accessibility of this information is great that you brought it up. And it's all based on data, right? And
Yep.
testing and verification are part of your standards, whether this comes from a factory produced offsite project or existing buildings. So Mother Nature continues to do what Mother Nature does. And measurable results are taken time and time again. And I want to bring up the fact that when we're talking about measurable results, in fact, one of the greatest ones I think we should bring up is 50,000 homes. That is measurable. So it's not something that we're bragging about, but it's something that's very well known as of pretty much today, right? And there's more coming. So
Yeah.
Please elaborate.
Yeah, Mark, thanks for that. So that is one of the things that we are really excited to talk about is reaching the milestone of 50,000 fortified homes in the United States. It has really changed significantly how communities like Mobile and Baldwin counties in Alabama are experiencing hurricanes. Hurricane Sally came through in 2020. There were 18,000 fortified homes in the pathway of that storm. And fewer than 1% of those homes reported claims that involved systems that were upgraded as a part of the Fortified program. On top of that, as a builder, one of the things that I'm really interested in is how does this help me? I understand that some of the financial benefits will go to the homeowner, but what about me? And one of the things that was super exciting for me after Sally went through, I got calls from roofing contractors and home builders that participate saying that their warranty calls after the storm were almost non-existent. We had one roofer that had 9,000 fortified roofs that were in exposed, and they said they didn't get one call back on those roofs for leaks. So that was really exciting to hear. And then we had a couple of higher volume builders who also said that their warranty calls were dramatically reduced compared to previous storm events. So, that's one way that builders can look at this and say, I may have to spend a little bit more. I may have to, endure an extra set of eyes coming through to double check that things are getting done the way that they need to be done. But on the back end, I'll have lower costs when it comes to warranty and higher customer satisfaction.
What's so amazing, Fred, is that you are a builder. So you have the experience, and then you can have these conversations with other builders. And now you've got proven techniques. You have information out there. I'd love to know more. How are you seeing this transfer into manufacturing? How are you
Sure.
seeing the program affect Offsite Solutions?
So there are fortified homes that are already offsite built homes. So we have modular homes. We are starting to see an increase in manufactured homes that already exist being able to be re-roofed and achieve a fortified roof, particularly up in North Carolina as a result of a really kind of exciting roof grant program they have there. Alabama, where we will be celebrating 50,000 designations, has sort of led the way in providing a robust, comprehensive set of incentives that is driving demand, and that's creating opportunity for modular builders and other offsite builders, because Fortified really is about getting the details right. And it's about getting details right that you may not be able to see once the home is finished. In a factory environment or in a controlled environment where you can get to factory level precision and really tight tolerances, Fortified is a natural fit for that. We can get that into the specifications. There's already, in a lot of these situations, a robust QA process as the home moves down the manufacturing line, to be able to monitor and make sure that what we're looking for is actually getting done in that controlled environment. I did most of my home building as site-built homes. I did get prefabricated panels, but assembly had to happen by and large in the field. And that's, you got weather, you got all kinds of issues that you can be dealing with out there in the field that can affect the overall construction of the home. But having offsite stuff done can really drive down cycle time and increase quality. And that's really where Fortified wants to be. So we are currently, we see a lot of opportunity in this space over the next 12 to 24 months. We actually just completed a plant tour in Georgia last week. So we're revamping and improving our plant certification process. And we're also relooking at our evaluation process. Our evaluation process was originally designed to work for site built, but we see so much opportunity in offsite building that we're revamping our evaluation process to take into consideration how that's a little different than site built, the pieces that are built in a factory that versus the assembled and placed on site, so we can remove friction out of that process and make it easier for offsite builders to offer Fortified.
Brad, that involvement of assessing what's happening and where it's happening and the severities of it's happening, it's incredible that the standard is always adding another chapter, right, to best secure what the homes and the people that enjoy them do. The team at Fortified has been great to learn from, and I'm excited for all the folks that continue to bring this as a part of their standards and practices. I can't wait to come out and visit sometime for sure. There's many events where people can come and check out and learn from what y'all do. So it's been wonderful having you on Offsite Dirt. And Audree, this is a great topic that we've had. I love how it incorporates what our consumers need well beyond where code is at.
Yeah, you know what I really love, and Fred, I think you've articulated this so well, is your expansion and where you can go next. And we agree with you. We think offsite construction is going to be used in the next 5 to 10 years as a regular mainstay. And there's so many benefits, we don't have to talk about them, but I do love that you're creating this evaluation process. I love that you have specific techniques that have worked and have been proven. Each one of these things allows us to have better building out there. Is there anything closing that you'd like our audience to know, or how to get a hold of you, or other information that you'd like to supply for them?
So I do have a couple of other things just to mention briefly. One is that Fortified can be achieved by both new construction and existing construction. So if you happen to be listening to this and you're thinking, well, this would be great if I'd known this a year ago, we do have strategies and techniques. And anytime you're re-roofing, that's a really good opportunity to, in a cost-effective way, improve the durability of your home. So that's number one. Number two, geographically, we're expanding significantly. We have primarily been on the Gulf Coast and the Mid-Atlantic coast, but we now have programs going in Iowa, so some coming in Minnesota, and we're expanding up into the Midwest, places in Kentucky. So folks that may not live at the coast, Fortified is for you too. So keep that in mind. And if you're an offsite builder, you can incorporate Fortified standards and add value for your customers no matter where you build. And lastly, at fortifiedhome.com, we have some links to our training platform called Fortified Wise. And there we have training for roofing contractors, building professionals. We even have some free courses that are just for insurers, insurance agents, realtors, and folks that are just generally curious about what Fortified is. We have a short course up there called Fortified Fundamentals that takes about 15 minutes to view it, and it walks you all the way through the science, the process, and what we do on the, in the Fortified program. So, I hope that people will go and check that stuff out at fortifiedhome.org and learn more about us.
I agree. And I'm so glad that you've covered all these different areas of construction, new construction, existing construction, offsite. I don't know how that you can't want to know more about having a more safe home and a home that will be secured, and roofing. Obviously, everything starts from the roof down. So it is super important. Thank you so much for being here on our high performance series. We're excited about your success. We love to see more of it happen. And we're certainly so proud that you have taken the time, this organization, to not only teach and influence, but do the research to support this amazing program at Fortified. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mark, for being here. Thank you, Fred. And check out some more information on Fortified and the Insurance Institute for building or for business and home safety. Have a great day.